Frameworks do not govern. They recommend. They guide. They suggest. And suggestion is insufficient where failure is not an option. Modern cybersecurity frameworks, no matter how well-intentioned, ultimately devolve into discretionary compliance. Organizations adopt what is convenient, ignore what is difficult, and negotiate risk rather than eliminate it. In sovereign and mission-critical environments, this is not resilience. It is tolerated fragility. The structural failure of framework-based security. Frameworks lack jurisdictional authority. They are implemented as policy, interpreted locally, and waived when operational pressure mounts. This creates a condition where security posture varies by convenience, leadership tolerance, or operational expediency, none of which are valid defenses against determined adversaries. Where compliance is optional, exposure is inevitable. Why enforcement is foundational. Sovereign systems require enforceable boundaries, not aspirational controls. Constitutional enforcement establishes prohibitions that cannot be negotiated away, what may operate, where it may operate, what it may connect to, and what conditions are forbidden entirely. Articles and clauses do not guide behavior, they compel it. This is the distinction between security as preference and security as law. Enforcement as digital jurisdiction. Under Zero Doctrine, cybersecurity is treated as a matter of jurisdiction, not configuration. Governance is embedded into the architecture itself. Exposure is not mitigated, it is constitutionally barred. Trust is not assumed, it is enforced through authority and isolation. This is why Zero Doctrine operates above frameworks. It determines which models are permitted to exist, and under what constraints. The proper relationship with Zero Trust. Zero Trust is not discarded. It is subordinated. Zero Trust functions as a control model within environments whose exposure is already accepted. It manages identity, access, and breach propagation effectively, but it cannot prohibit the conditions that create exposure in the first place. Within Zero Doctrine, Zero Trust becomes a tactical mechanism, not a governing principle. It operates only inside enforced enclaves, under constitutional constraints that eliminate discretionary exposure. This is not enhancement. It is reclassification. Frameworks explain, constitutions govern. A system governed by frameworks explains how to behave. A system governed by constitutional doctrine forces behavior to align with sovereignty. Zero Doctrine replaces policy drift with enforceable digital law. Security is no longer something teams try to maintain, it is something the system cannot violate. Conclusion. Frameworks alone cannot secure sovereign systems because they lack authority. Sovereign cybersecurity requires binding prohibitions, enforced boundaries, architectural enforcement of jurisdiction, and governance that cannot be waived under pressure. Zero Doctrine provides this by replacing discretionary compliance with constitutional enforcement, rendering exposure non-operational by design. Learn more at manuelwlloyd.com.